Hey, everybody, it's Dana Brooks of Facing Brooks Law Offices, and you are back with another episode of the Empower Hour brought to you by the Empower Plant. I'm Dana Brooks, and we have a very exciting, inspirational young guest with us today. We have got Kaylin Jean-Louis. I'm mainly having her here just so I can say her last name. It makes me sound so elegant, you know, Jean-Louis.
Jean-Louis? Jean-Louis?
Jean-Louis. We met your mother, Priscilla, and she was on our Come Back Stronger television.
Yes.
And she is one heck of a woman. And I'm not surprised that you are her, what is it, progeny? I always get that right.
Prodigy.
No, tell us about yourself. I'll just briefly say your mom impressed us because she is somebody who was a caregiver for caregivers. And that's something you also do in your youth initiative. But just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, because you're still in high school. So let everybody know what's going on with you, what your passion projects are, and just get to know you. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Kaylin Jean-Louis. I am a 16-year-old rising senior who attends Florida State University schools. Here in Tallahassee, I've been able to just be gifted to help others in the community. I mean, ever since I was little, I've been taught to give back to others before I was able to partake in anything I wanted. And so just instilling that into my life, I try to take that in every aspect, whether that's completing homework assignments and thinking of others, or that is just with my organization, which is Kaylin's Caring Connection. I am the executive director of that nonprofit that I started in 2016, where I've just been able to give back to the community, whether there was a need of homelessness, whether I simply wanted to just put a smile on the face of many other youth here who are just going through something. I just wanted to be that difference that made them smile and let them know that there are still people out there who care.
Oh my goodness. 2016. So 6 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Were, if I'm not correct, younger than you are today.
Yes, ma'am. Around 10 or 11.
That's impressive, young lady. I want to give my panelists an opportunity to find out more about how to inspire children to do great things. I can't even imagine you, sending a horrible text to somebody. It's nice. You're a mama. You're a mama. What do you think about this young woman? Look at what she's been doing.
Amazing. Hat off to you at 10 and 11. My goodness, becoming a founder and an executive director. Those are things that people try to go to school for, to get their degrees in nonprofits and all that other great stuff. One of the things I would ask you is, as a youth leader, what impact do you feel like you've played in our community?
I would say that was different. I decided that, because I know there are a lot of people in my generation who simply, they're all into themselves, they're into their image, helping other people. But just being able to be that change. I mean, my whole life I've been told that I talk, that I always am running. And so I decided to use my voice for change. And that came into, whether that was right now with the homeless population, I've been trying to raise awareness for that. But of late, my biggest initiative that I think I've contributed to the community is just being a youth caregiver advocate. Because as Ms. Brooks said, my mom was on Come Back Stronger. And a part of our journey, we care for my grandmother who has Alzheimer's. And just being able to see that there are not as many youth who are recognized for that responsibility of caring. I wanted to be that light, step up, and just share that there are people out there who are just like them.
Awesome. You're amazing, young lady.
Thank you.
You're very inspirational, really, at a time where so many people get caught up in just thinking about themselves and where they are, what their situation is like. It's really refreshing to see a young person who's concerned about, taking care of the generations that went before us. We certainly owe them a debt of gratitude for the paths that they plowed for us. And it's really nice to see your mother's example and then it shining down on you as well. That's awesome. It's refreshing. Betsy Brown in the house.
Hi.
Hi, lady.
Hey, Kaylin Jean-Louis.
Hello.
Betsy, are you over in Pensacola flying jets? Is that why we got this? Because I know it's Blue Angels speed in Pensacola.
Yes, and that's who's flying them, Dana.
All right.
We're looking at it.
You know what, of any of us on this panel, Betsy would be the one who would say, oh, I've just been doing this on the side for like 10 months. It's not a thing. I'm just flying jets now.
You know, in my spare time. So Kaylin, thanks for coming on. So I would love to hear more about your organization and like examples of things that you guys do. And then I probably will have some questions about that, because I do have questions about, you know, what people in the situation that these people are in, these young caregivers, how can people like me, people in the community, be of assistance? How can we help? How can we serve to support those people?
Yeah. What kind of support do they have now? I would think that would kind of be a unique group of youth.
Yes, ma'am. So to touch on Kaylin's Caring Connection, as stated before, I did start it in 2016. I was around 10 or 11, and I simply just had the idea. I told my mom, I was like, I just want to give back. I want to find a way to help. And so I called my mom, my momager, but anyone who is known me, has seen me, is that I'm not afraid to ask for help. So I went to TMH and I said, I want to do something to help. So we're able to find out that they have their children's center, and we decided that we just wanted to show some love, show some inspiration. So we gave about 250 teddy bears where we'll be able to just show them love, allow the youth that are in there to know that when they're going through their treatments, that there's something out there waiting for them. And it was around Christmas time, because we all get gifts. I know that me and my peers get that, but there are those in the hospital who don't get the chance to get that warm gift, that one good thing, because they're battling for whatever disease they're dealing with. So we started with that. And then with the organization, I think it has expanded more than I ever thought it would, because I was able to partner with such organizations such as the Ronald McDonald House here in Tallahassee. I was able to partner with the Hang Tough Foundation. I was able to partner with the Big Ben Homeless Coalition and give them toys for their Christmas drive that they were having. And I've been able to give to different group homes, but simply, I think Kaylin's Caring Connection, my whole essence is just to meet the needs right where they are. It doesn't matter to me whether it's homelessness. It could just be someone who just needs something to eat, someone to be there to show them that love. And so any way I can help meet that need, that's what I try to do. And with that, I've just been able to keep going, keep adding different things. And then when I started helping people just with their needs, I realized that with my own situation with being a youth caregiver, that it wasn't as talked about. I mean, after seeing so many people who are caregivers, you hear the adults, you hear those who are the big dogs caring for those that are not in the best places. And so I just decided that why not advocate for it and just spark something different, because you hear so much about adults. So I started a drive called the Youth Caregiver Awareness Drive, where I recognized about 5 local youth here in Tallahassee and some that were outside in Florida, but just to let them know that we see them, and while they care for others, we care for them. So that is Youth Caregiver Movement.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. Amazing.
What an impressive young woman you are.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Carrie Roan, my law partner, you're on today. What do you think about Kaylin?
Well, I will admittedly be the mother of kids that aren't doing as much as you are in the community and that are very interested in themselves. But so Kaylin, I don't know if you know my son Gabriel Roan, but he went to Florida High with you for a long time.
Yes, I have heard that name. Nice. I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, so he's been doing virtual school, but he still does your astronaut challenge team, and he still plays on your tennis team at Florida High.
Oh, awesome. Well, go FSUS. Love it.
Yay, go Seminoles. And so I interviewed your mom for our show, and she was so lovely. And now I see where you get it from. Like, you are so much like her, just your demeanor, your presence, you're very calm and you're very inspirational, just like your mom. And I walked away from my interview with your mom and I went home and I told my parents all about her because I was so impressed with her. And she said, I can't remember the one saying that she kept saying, but she has a little saying about caring for people. And what she found was that she felt so much love by caring for her grandmother and then her mother, right? And so what she wanted people to know from that, what her takeaway was that she felt loved by loving by loving those people. Is that kind of the same thing that you go through? Like, do you get that reward?
Yes, I do. I mean, I know that there are a lot of times where there would be times where I was giving back, and so many people have asked me, well, what do you get from doing it? Why do you choose to? Simply because of the laughs. I mean, everybody has their senses of difficult times in their life. Of course, we've all had our share. And so just having to see certain things in my life, I've realized that the smiles and the joys and the laughs of life are some of the most important things. And so if I could just put a smile on somebody's face who may have been feeling down, if somebody's going through a hard time, and I could be an answer to their prayer, that's what I want to do. And from my mom, I think just watching her my entire life and seeing how much she's given back to the community, it just inspired me to pay it forward.
Yeah, and I think it's really neat how she didn't ever present it like it's a burden. And even though some days are hard, she never sees it like it's a burden. She always saw it as a reward. And I thought that was such a lovely perspective.
Yes. I mean, she even with me before I was secondary caregiver with her, she sat me down and asked, do you want to do this? Because she didn't want it to be a burden on me as well. But I told her, I said, we're in this journey together. I might as well find a way to pitch in, even if it's as simple as throwing away food my grandma has or helping sweep, help wash dishes. I wanted to go on that journey with her because one thing we both stand by is that love is greater than dementia. We like to say that because even when my grandmother has her moments of disorientment or she may not know what's going on, she constantly says, I love you. I'm so happy that you're caring for me. Or she'll just simply show love and hugs and kisses. She's just, that love that she showed us is what causes us to show love to others.
Oh, I love it. You know, Carrie, I'm trying to remember what Priscilla's mantra or motto was. And it's something like,
is it keep going, keep caring, keep
like
pushing?
love from love, or something about, you know, your parent loved you and now it's your turn to love your parent back. And
right.
that was compelling to me, and it was to you. I think also, Carrie, you commented on that because you never really think about it that way, about how your parents are the ones who took care of you when you were just, you know, unable to be on your own, and they made sure you were clothed and fed and had your dignity and, you know, learned how to be in the world around you, be safe in the world around you. And isn't it, you know, kind of full circle that we would now, you know, shoulder that burden with our parents?
Yeah, it's our turn. It's our turn. Yeah. But to be so young and be doing it is what's impressive. You know, you feel like you kind of get to that stage in your life when you see your parents get older and you're, you know, middle-aged like I am, not when you're so young. I mean, Kaylin, you're giving so much of your free time and your fun time up to help. And that's so commendable, I think.
Thank you so much. I mean, there are times where it was challenging. I mean, I was in color guard at my school, so I was very involved in activities. I'm in several clubs right now. And my mom just, even with caring, she always made sure I did things to allow me to still be a kid, but I always wanted to be there for her because I can watch her go through the journey of caregiving. I can watch her do this, but I wanted to get into it. I mean, if I'm going to be in the house with her, if I'm going to see all this go on, I might as well find a way to help.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I have a question for you, Kaylin.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your aspirations? What are your goals?
Well, beyond expanding Kaylin's Caring Connection, me personally, I'm looking forward to just graduating high school, of course, but right now I also am on track to get my AA. And so I'm looking forward to this year, hopefully May 2023, I will have my high school diploma and my associate's degree going into the communications field because I feel like broadcast journalism has to be one of the best options for me as I have the radio show. I'm able to inspire others, and it's just truly something that makes me feel like I'm not going into just a job. It's really a career for me to have that passion and really help other people. But I also am, just with Kaylin's Caring Connection, I want to be able to establish something here in Tallahassee, whether it's a building, whether it's a chapter where I can allow other young people to get involved in the community and learn more. I want to be able to really bring it and enforce it in Tallahassee.
Do you have any political aspirations?
Not at the moment. I mean, I've always,
I'm always looking for talent.
I like being able to help others. I mean, I've seen so many celebrities get the fame and get those titles and just see how it can turn for the worse. And I mean, I know that may not be my situation, but as of right now, I just want to help. I'm not looking for the big role, but I mean, if it's presented to me and it is needed in such a time as this, then I may consider.
That leads me into another question. Okay, this is a hot seat question for a person your age, but you're at a age where you're young and all of your good work is lauded and appreciated by people you probably have a lot of respect for, the leaders in your community, your parents, your teachers. Real politics and really trying to implement change in policy, that can expose you to a side of life that's not very inspirational or uplifting. It used to be just a little horse trading here and there. And right. Now it seems like it's almost a complete surrender of your core values in the pursuit of party, furthering a particular agenda. You've kind of hitched your star to that wagon. Do you ever think about, do you ever get jaded whenever you think about the world you're inheriting and all of the decisions and responsibility your generation is going to have for the choices of the people who came before you?
Yeah, it's really disheartening right now. I mean, we've seen so many events right now, from gun violence to the overturning of fundamental rights to just not knowing where our world is going to go. And I mean, as a young adult growing up, I'm getting closer to voting age, but not being in that position to physically show how I feel or be able to do things. I mean, it makes me sad that there are people older than me who don't have the same mentality of the world just needs change and they need people in place that really want to see good things happen for the country. I mean, we have so many things going on right now. And I feel in certain aspects that we focus so much on the negative instead of trying to show what's positive, instead of trying to show people that we care, instead of showing people that there's still love out there. And I think the main root is that there's so many things attacking so many people in one thing, because life is life. I mean, you never know what's going on in somebody's brain or somebody's life until you have a conversation with them. And we just have so many people who are assuming things about other people instead of actually sitting down and saying, how can I help you? How are you doing? And I feel like if more people took the time to check in on how people are mentally and check on how things are going, we could avoid a lot of these problems and make it a better generation for future generations.
My God, you're wise, right? Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. She sounds just like her mom. She sounds just like her mom. It's like a version 2.
You're 2.0. You're a sage. It's just amazing how elementary it really is. Mm-hmm. And people just won't do it.
But isn't it so reassuring that it's her generation that thinks like that, though? It's like, not to get political, as soon as we are done with kind of the older generation from the old school, this new generation takes over. It's so refreshing. It provides me with
and I know the way of the world. I mean, I am still very socially liberal, but when you're a business owner, Carrie, Betsy, Kara, you know what you're talking about. Magic doesn't make the world go round. You have to earn that. You have to grind it. You have to do certain things. You have to leverage things. You have to get very smart. You can't just think, I'm going to work hard and do good things and everything will just work out fine. It just doesn't work that way. I wish it did. I hate to be, poo-pooing the youth and the, just the optimism of your generation. I love that. We need all of that we can get. But we need reality too, because I had an intern with me. She was on our mentor show, Elizabeth Hughes, and she had an opportunity. She was working with us. She had an opportunity to go work at the legislature with a legislator. And she was talking it over with me because I was also mentoring her, not just as her supervisor here at the office. And I said, well, you got to take this shot, of course, you have to. But I said, listen, let's sit down and prepare you for some things you may encounter that may really hurt your feelings and really disappoint you. And a lot of people you look up to and what their behavior is like. So especially as a woman, and especially as someone who has another minority attached to them, it could make you feel sometimes like, screw it. I'm not getting my nose bloodied every day. There's not enough in it for me. Do you ever feel like that or see people who do?
I mean, personally, there are days where I'm just like, when is the world going to be the world that we were taught when we were younger? The nice, beautiful trees, sunny skies, nothing is wrong. There are times where I'm just like, when will we ever get back to that? But then I also know it's more of a sense of until I, as a person, or until my generation makes that decision to just enough is enough and really stand up and make change, that's when I know we'll maybe be closer to that. I mean, there are several people I know I actually did a poll with a few peers that I know in Tallahassee, just sharing how they felt about recent world events, especially surrounding gun violence, and just the views of hearing so many of my peers saying that they're scared to go to school, that they're scared to live in this world where they can't just have a normal day, where they don't have to worry about whether I'm going to get home safe, whether I'm going to be able to just live a normal life, because you have to deal with so many social issues, so many things that just affect youth right now. And a lot of the times people see, wow, it's affecting adults, it's affecting maybe right now gas prices, it's affecting so many different things, but they neglect to look at other people like my age that we still feel things, we still see what's going on. And it's just as important to hear how we feel versus just hearing what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Panel, who wants to talk? Carrie, were you talking?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. I just said that that's right. I mean, that's exactly right. You shouldn't be minimized. Your generation shouldn't be minimized. You have a voice, and it's a very valid voice, and it's a very important voice.
It should be amplified. They're going to have to fix it. Right. I mean, you and I, you're a decade younger than me, but I mean, I don't have forever to work. I'm on the clock. So, I mean, your generation is going to be dealing with it whether you want to or not. Certainly not because you've earned it. But so what? That's how it goes. So I appreciate that you're willing to say, okay, it's a muddy water for sure, but I'm going to wade into it and see what I can do. I respect that. I respect your faith.
I think you should get into politics. I think politics are in your future.
Well, I'm secretly kind of trying to. You saw how subtle I was about it.
I know, with the Elizabeth comment. Yeah, I know.
Okay, Betsy.
I vote for you, Kaylin.
Hi.
I vote for you. I kind of want to go back to Kaylin's caring connection and ask a little bit more about that, because first of all, it just blows my mind. I have a daughter who's 12, or you were younger than that when you started this whole thing. So are there any other groups that you guys focus on, at-risk groups that you want to help other than young caregivers? What else do you guys do?
We try to help just as many people as we can. I mean, I don't discriminate on age. I feel like a need is a need, and whether or not it is for a young person, for an older person, that it should be met. And so we focused on youth caregivers for the past time because I know that's been a hot topic and a really big movement for me. But in the past, I started off thinking more on youth because I wanted to help my fellow peers who were going through different things. But I'm open to helping as many people as I can, even if I've had some people say they want to start collegiate chapters and they want to be able to do things with the college students. I'm open to helping anything, even with my mom when she has her things. I'm trying to help different adults. We actually are partnering with other organizations that hit other demographics, hit other groups, because we really just want to show as many people that we can, that we care with Kaylin's Caring Connection. And I simply just want to expand it to as many needs as I can.
So how can somebody like my daughter help your organization? Do you guys need volunteer work, donations?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me. What do
Yes.
you need?
Well, I can share something that's upcoming right now, because I was going to, I know we have time, so I could pop this in there real quick. I have an event coming up, but it's not just this event. There's several events that I try to do within the year, whether that is my youth caregiver awareness drive, whether that is a summer drive, then I go into Alzheimer's walk, and then I do a Christmas drive. But anytime I have a drive, I'm looking for other youth who are just passionate about helping. I know right now, a lot of people are looking for service hours. So I'm trying to, as many events as I may have right now, I have the Backpacks for the Homeless. That is an event that I have coming up right now on July 23rd. That will be going on, where I am soliciting for any youth who want to help. If you want to get 5 service hours, they can come, and they're helping fill the backpacks. They're making sure that we have everything distributed. And then on the day that we actually give them out, they're able to go and distribute, be able to see that smile go onto that one homeless person's face, or they're able to get in the community and just see that there are other things that they can do to make small impacts. And so any youth, especially like your daughter who may want to get involved, she can be a volunteer. I'm looking into finding ways to incorporate a board. I'll be trying to establish that as well, where I have other youth's opinions on what they want to do, and just find different ways we can meet in the community. And so I'm all for volunteers, all for different people. And if anybody wants to connect, I mean, you can get in contact with me through Instagram. You can contact me through Facebook. The Instagram is at Kaylin Cares 15. And if you want to just find ways to get involved in the community, you can just message me, find a way to actually get involved.
Kaylin, do you have a website where we can see like your events that are coming up? And
yes, ma'am. It is www.kaylinscaringconnection.com, spelled exactly like it is on the shirt. And with that website, you can see everything from why I started Kaylin's Caring Connection to why I started the Youth Care 2 movement, and just any past things that I've done. It is a lovely website. I recommend everyone going in and being able to see what's going on, because all the events that are on there, everything that I do is on there. And anytime we have a big event where people donate, we put them on the website, because we like to recognize that this is not just my doing. I don't do any of this just through me. It's through community partners, and it's through getting those people who are willing to help. And so we like to highlight that. We actually have Fassick Brooks on there right now for this drive, because you all were amazing to donate us some amazing toiletries. So I'm looking forward to being able to go through all those and put those into the backpacks.
Oh, I love it.
you need people to come and like pack the backpack.
Yes.
That sounds like it could be fun.
We'll be packing them the day before. So on Friday, July 22nd, we'll be at Life Changers Church of God in Christ. Time will be determined, but if you do want to be able to help, if you go to the website where it says events, it'll take you to the upcoming backpack event, and you can register for it. And on that registration link, we ask for your email, because we'll be sending out more details to the volunteers of when this will happen, just a full itinerary for the day, so that they know what they're getting into and how they're going to help.
Awesome.
Hey, Kaylin, I want to ask you about your birthday projects. Mm-hmm. Somebody is watching us on Facebook Live and wanted to make sure I ask you about that.
Yes, my birthday initiative, that is actually what I was discussing a little bit about right now. It is going to be my birthday service weekend, because my birthday is July 21st. Everybody can woo woo. It's coming up. I'll be the big 17, entering another chapter of my life. And just for that, anyone who knows me knows I love caring for others and giving back to the community. And with homelessness being such an alarming rate right now in Tallahassee, I mean, everywhere I look, I see somebody out there who has to endure this putrid heat. It's so hot outside. And so I really wanted to just be able to find a way to meet them where they are by trying to get these donations in. And so what we're doing is, it's called Backpacks for the Homeless, hashtag We Got Your Back. And so we will be, my goal is to impact at least 100 lives. So we're going to be doing 100 backpacks, filling them up with some necessities that they need. Right now, we were gracious to get a nice donation on a agency. They were able to give us the funds to get the backpacks. So we already have our backpacks, but right now we are in need of the necessities and the non-perishable foods like bottled water, granola bars, nuts and trail mix, fruit cups, canned soup, tuna and crackers, different things like that, even notes of encouragement, just some nice things to give back to the homeless, because we want them to have everything that they need, especially right now when there's so many people who just drive past them instead of actually helping them out with what they need.
Yeah. We do bags for the homeless. The law firm does every Christmas, and we take them to the Kearney Center and hand them out. And their favorite thing amongst everything that we give them in the goodie bags is the Christmas cards. So when you said cards of encouragement, that reminded me they do absolutely love just a little handwritten, just a little, like a little love note, like, you know, kids write in there, "Have a Merry Christmas, we love you," and it just makes them feel so good, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you can overestimate the power of something like that. Just a little note of recognition. You know, it's something somebody took a minute to do. You know, even if sometimes it's just a text or thinking of you type of a thing. People like to think that they matter. They like to think someone cares about them. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Kia,
I have a question real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I could jump in there. So, you know, when we're driving, and you mentioned driving past unhoused people, what is the most useful thing you can do for them? Like, if you hand them something, what should it be? Like you mentioned it was hot. Should we keep maybe some bottled waters in the car, hand those out? Granola bars, I usually have a bunch of those, and maybe even a hat or something, like
smart
to help them feet. I mean, do you have any suggestions of things we can just kind of keep on hand when we're in those situations?
I would suggest water, especially with how hot it is. They definitely can take as much water as they can get. I'd also suggest, if you want to carry, when it's in the colder months, blankets, socks, different things like gloves. They can do well with food that is ready to be eaten. I know some of them have signs sometimes where they simply need food. Me and my mom, we actually, when we were in our way of trying to get more people to hear about the event coming up, there was a homeless man here in Tallahassee. His name was Steve, and he actually was saying that him and his buddies hadn't eaten. They were looking for food. We went down to McDonald's and just got them some food and brought it back. If anybody is willing to just simply, if you see them and they need food, even if it's carrying some snacks, like you said, granola bars, or having trail mix on hand to give out to them, that helps. I mean, I know a lot of times they ask for money and different things. And I mean, with that, I just say be careful. But I mean, I would suggest people giving them those necessities, even if it's like toothbrush and toothpaste or sunscreen, chapstick, different things like first aid kit that can just keep them safe, and just some necessities that we use every day to make sure that they still can live their lives.
Socks are really big too. Socks are a really big thing that they often need.
Great question.
Hey, Kaylin, I have to run though. It was so nice to see you. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I have to leave early.
It's okay. Thank you so much. And it was so nice to see you.
For making time to join us again, Carrie. I want to ask you something.
Yes, ma'am.
You are friends with our adopted child, Amaya Wayman.
Right? Ma'am.
This little girl never asked to be adopted, but it happened anyway. So I see you following in that path, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
No, I'm going to be on her committee to elect Amaya for whatever the heck she chooses. I want to forever. And I see myself being on yours too. But I want to ask you something. If you don't want to answer, fine. But you're a young woman living in this community. How do you feel about gun violence? And how safe do you feel in your school? And do you have any ideas that the grown-ups haven't tried yet?
Gun violence is definitely something that does make me worry. I mean, I rely on my faith, of course, to keep me safe, and I trust God. But there are moments where I walk into school sometimes and I see certain people who may be in certain states mentally, and I'm just wondering, what is it going to take? What will happen when one day I'm just sitting in class and we have to go on a drill? I mean, they've done several drills at my school where we've had to practice just in case there is an intruder, and that's very scary. We actually had, I think it was back when I was in 9th grade, there was a situation where there wasn't an active shooter at our location, but they were nearby, and we had to go on an emergency lockdown. And so the thoughts that are running through my brain is, what's going to happen? I don't know. We're sitting there texting our parents that this is going on. And just knowing that it has become so normal in our society. You see so many mass shootings occurring across the nation, and it seems to just be normal to some people. They see it and they're like, oh, just another shooting, just another this. But people's lives are just being lost in no time. I mean, it makes me scared because I know that I have some friends who may be in certain districts here in Tallahassee that are seen as not the safe side. And sometimes I'm worried, well, what will happen to them? I never know what can happen. I mean, nobody ever knows what will happen when they step outside their house. And just knowing that gun violence is adding to that is not scary. I mean, I've heard talk that some teachers may have to carry guns to keep their children safe now, or they're just having so many things going on where schools are having to combat an active shooter or something that may happen. I mean, honestly, I would tell those who need different ways to go about this is, one, just they need to talk to kids. I think counseling needs to be in the schools anyway, because that's what causes a lot of people to end up picking up a gun and shooting people, is because they have something going on within them and they don't have an outlet to talk to somebody. So I think if more schools had that mental counseling to really be there for them and hear them out, then that may be a situation. And just having gun control, more restrictions on who can have guns and who cannot, because we were taught, like I said, all of our lives that the ones who have them are law enforcement, the ones that are protecting us. So what happens when everybody has the option to now? Are we just going to be going in a cycle of, if I get mad, I just shoot the person next to me? What goes on with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine that seems bleak. I could imagine that. I was kind of blown away in that Uvalde situation, and I don't want to pile on to the beating up on the cops and how they handled that, but what did stand out to me was how well trained the children were. Whenever they said, kids, it's a active shooter drill or whatever, it's kind of like when I was back in the day, I'm 54, back in the day, we had stop, drop, and roll. Worst thing we thought could happen is a fire. You know, kids in the Midwest, tornado. You know, hurricanes, you got plenty of time to get out of school. Snow. I mean, just think about all these things. But now you kids are taught to weaponize staplers. That disturbs me. That disturbs me that my child, who's more malleable and trainable apparently than some grown-ups who have sworn an oath to protect them, they're more malleable. When you said that, those kids went to the place, they got behind the right door, they did the yada to the yada. And so whenever I hear that our law enforcement people don't have sufficient training to act in the best way in these situations, I really feel for you all. And I really feel for anyone raising a child, Betsy, Kia, and sending them off, you know, because you're weighing this, okay, if I keep them home, I protect them. Do you really protect them from what? Online predators, you know, things that are in the backseat of your minivan and you don't even realize. I'm overwhelmed by the concept of parenting, and I can't imagine I'm the only one. That might be why we see a decline in birth rates among the more civilized, so to speak, societies. Kia and Betsy, weigh in here.
Right. So I can say when the Sandy Hook thing happened, I think Elise was my daughter. She was about the age that those children were. And it was the most horrifying feeling just dropping her off at school, knowing something like that can happen. And then as the years have gone on, we've talked about it. And I'll ask my kids, because I have two more. So when you have these active shooter drills, tell mommy what you do, like what happens. And they'll go through it with me, and they each have like a place that they're assigned to go hide and go and things to do. And it's like almost more than I can internalize, because it's so different than how we grew up. And I did the stop, drop, and roll thing too. And it's crazy when you think how much things have changed. And I just have to think why. Because
is that really freedom? I think we've done it in the name of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really freedom? Now that we don't feel like we can leave our own homes, we can't celebrate the 4th of July. Right. Is that really freedom?
No, but what went wrong? Like, people had guns back then when I was young. People I knew had guns, you know, growing up in the South.
We never thought of using them on each other. We only thought of using them on one another when we were a threat to property or personhood. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't shoot people back in the day because they disrespected us or cut us off in traffic or talked to our girl. That's what's different. People won't get their ass beat anymore.
That's what I was about to say. They won't.
Now they all got weapons. I'll shoot your ass. You just, I will shoot you.
They won't fight anymore. It's just
people don't fight anymore. Yeah. So not that I'm into that, but you know, I've never seen anybody other than Chuck Norris take out an entire room full of people with his bare hands.
Right.
You know? Remove the gun, outcome totally different. 100%.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
I think a comedian said it best, and I cannot remember which comedian I heard say it, but he literally said, if you make a bullet $5,000, I bet they'll think about
Chris Rock
they're gonna shoot at this point, because it's like, wait, that bullet costs way more than this.
Yeah.
But it kind
of think about if I want to use it or not.
Right? Am I gonna use this whole magazine worth of my $5,000?
$40,000.
That's just outrageous. Yeah. But I say that to say this, I almost kind of implore you and maybe even Amaya to probably come up with something like a teen summit. One of the best things that I think you stated is the mental side of it all. I'm actually a coach for one of the cheer teams here in town. And one of the things that we've implemented is called I Matter. It is ran by a young lady by the name of Driana Holland, and she has implemented this initiative into our girls. We have over 200 girls, right? And I wanted to say I'm going to talk to the owners to see if we can come and help you, along with Basic Brooks coming out there to help you as well. But I say that to say this, listening to you, and you have a wonderful radio voice, by the way. I came from communications, and I just want to, it's not communications, it is the School of Journalism and Graphic Communications at Florida A&M. And I just want to throw that out there, that if you ever want to go there, it should happen. Just but
I think she's saying she'll write you a letter.
I'm just saying, you know, if you ever want to be one of those, I'm just not this, but they're great too. They're great. They're great. I love all my Seminoles. I love them all. Just throwing that. But I think with what you're saying and the things that you guys are building within the community, I now have the Generation Alpha in my house, they call it.
Yes.
So you're going to be bringing up my children behind you. And I think with the initiative of what you guys are doing, I think a youth panel would be great for you guys to actually talk and get it out. Have the different commissioners be there to be able to listen to what, I know this is my recommendation, this is your show, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to put this on your plate, you know?
Right. I've been thinking of that.
Right. I'm just like, let's go. I think this would be great because you are absolutely right. It is the mental state that many of our kids are in. And if you think about it, and Dana, I know you can back me on this, coming from the psychology side, many times when people do what they do, they are in some type of hardship. Either they don't have the means in order to be able to get the food, so they write the bad check. They don't have the means to be able to pay for mortgage or, you know, keep that house or something.
They do a quick hustle. Yeah,
exactly. So now what do? I know a case study that I recently read. indicated that when they polled most of the prisoners, male and female, they said the reason they were there was because of those top three things, which was they were in some type of hardship. And I'm thinking I'm a geriatric millennial, by the way. So I came in during the time of the trench coat mafia. And I was the type of person that I befriended everyone. Like if I saw you drinking a Mountain Dew and I needed to be your friend, I was like, I don't want this to happen to me. Hey, you need this Mountain Dew? We're great friends. Just let me know if something's going to happen so I can tell the rest. But I say that to say you have made some great statements in regards to the mental side. And I think that's what's really plaguing us, because we keep our eyes on our phones, on our laptops. It's no longer that interaction, which is what you're doing with your Kaylin Cares connection. It's an interaction, it's a touch. And I learned a long time ago, because I lost both of my grandmothers to dementia and Alzheimer's. And to watch, one was very fast and the other was very slow. Like it took forever. And it was times where, and I know I was wrong for this, it was times where I was like, Lord, she is being so mean to my mom. Are you ready for her? I love her, but are you? And then, you immediately be like, oh, bring it back. I didn't mean that, Lord. I love her to death. Right. What else can we do? How can you help? But it's that caring, because she knew we were showing up. They knew we were coming, and it was that touch. And I think a lot of times, most of our kids are missing that touch.
Yeah.
It's that touch of the mental side of everything. So I just want to put it back on your.
So impressive.
Yes.
Right. That's why I love Priscilla. And that's why when I met this young woman, I'm like, I know who your mother is.
Right.
It's just like you're talking about, Kia, if you're from the South, especially, certain cultures, African-American, especially Southern African-American culture, we were taught to take care of people.
Absolutely.
You weren't expecting a parade.
No.
That's what you were supposed to do. But just seeing you, like Kia said, you're so refreshing that you still care about other people. You care about the people who care about other people, and you're paying attention to the world you're living in, and you want to have a voice in your future. And so I find you completely inspirational.
Thank you so much.
So many ways. I was going to ask you a couple more hot seat things.
Let's do it.
But I want to see about Betsy. You got anything else before we wrap up?
Just that I would love for my child, my daughter, to meet you. I think
I'm all for it.
I need her to have positive female role models, and not just my age, but your age, somebody she can really look up to and talk to. And I look forward to bringing her to some of your events coming up. Maybe you guys can introduce.
Yes, I am definitely welcome. That's really why I started my organization, because I didn't want it to just be something that just stayed flat and just stayed while the whole world was going around. I don't want Kaylin's Caring Connection to just be an organization that helps, but I want it to be something that allows other people to get involved in. And I strive in everything that I do. Every little person I meet, every young peer like me, I have some right now that I've already taken under my wing. Like, yes, I'm sticking with you because I know that you are destined for greatness. And if you continue to be strived, if you continue to keep your head forward, you continue to believe in your dreams, nobody can stop you. And so I definitely am just excited for all that is to come. And I look forward to meeting you all in person, because I just want to be able to help as many people as I can.
Dana, that sounds like our mentorship that we.
Yes, it should be success.
And my baby, I love her, y'all, but she needs some mentoring from somebody like Kaylin, because I gotta get her face out of her phone and out in the real world.
You know what? I wonder, does it take just one little thing to turn you on about something? It did with me. I can't remember what it was. It was obviously impactful. But I remember, like, one day I was woke and one day I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So speaking of woke, this is my last hot button question I want to ask you. Okay. We just had some legislation go through July 1. We just had some new laws come through. Okay. At your age in school, as socially conscientious as you are you affected by, or do you even hear any rumblings about these laws that went through, like the Don't Say Gay bill? Okay, do you even know what that is? Is it impacting you? Are you guys even talking about it? And what about this is we don't want to be woke bill. I can't remember what they call it, but don't be woke bill. Tell me how you and your generation is because to me it's all political. It's theater. It's nonsense. Right. But what is your generation seeing and feeling and talking about?
Well, I think my generation, we're kind of the generation that calls it like it is. And so we see it's political. We see that a lot of things that go on for some groups and demographics is an attack on who they are. It's an attack on their beliefs. And we're the generation that's kind of just going to stand up for what we believe in, no matter what people tell us to do. And so I have so many friends, so many people in my surrounding, or just people that I've heard at school, that anytime something goes on, some of them are diehard. I'm into the political. I want to be in law so that I can change some of the things that are going on. And then I just have some people who I know who maybe at my school are like, this isn't right. And so they're doing little things that they can locally to make sure that they make change. I mean, even with some of the bills that have gone on, there's been some kids at my school who've protested. There have been some kids who have just done certain initiatives to know that everybody is welcome. There's so many clubs that have been started at my school, whether it was just the big organization that was started a few years ago, which is Building Incredible Generations. They're there to be able to be a group to represent different people who have dreams. They have people at my school who are trying to start a women's club to advocate for the young ladies at the school. They're trying to start so many things around schools in Tallahassee and just locally, because honestly, I feel that with so much going on in legislation and since we can't vote, since we don't have that right because we're not 18, we're going to do everything that we can to still get those issues out. I mean, personally, even as you all mentioned, I do have a radio show. That's my outlet of being able to share how I feel and be able to get people to understand youth's perspective. I mean, recently, this whole month, I've been talking about gun violence. I'm trying to talk about some of the hot topics. This upcoming Saturday, I have a show coming up where the topic is what happens now, because we have so much going on where even with the overturn with Roe v. Wade, I'm talking about some of that. I'm talking about gun violence. I'm talking about the hot topics, because if we don't talk about it, if we don't see ways to change it, nothing's going to happen.
I can't to see you.
Man, I love that.
Amen.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm claiming y'all. Kaylin's going to be my baby mentor right now. I'm just saying it to the universe.
Right?
Now, Pat, what'd you say, Pat?
I'm claiming Kaylin. She's going to be my baby's mentor.
Right?
I'm saying it to the universe.
Nope, absolutely. You know, I dig it. And I'll tell you why. It kind of seems like weird strategy to me, because, you know, when everything's going your way, you don't tend to protest.
Right.
You tend to just get fat and happy and love it, you know. But then when things are not going your way, that starts a revolution. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just wondering if these people who have an opposing way or just want to squelch, you know, progress and thought and evolution and change, I wonder if they really thought this through beyond this first one or two jumps.
They definitely didn't, because they don't know what's coming. I mean, action is what happens. I feel like a lot of them did this to get a reaction, but not the reaction that they were expecting. They're expecting everybody to get out, loot, to do all this. There's so many people in my generation now who are way past that. And they're like, the action we're going to give is real change. I mean, the only way it's going to happen is through petitions, is through standing up for what you believe in, and even sometimes having to peacefully protest, because we do have the right to peacefully assemble.
Well, you know who will buy you pizza when you're sitting on those lines. Call Miss Dana.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll bring the water.
All right, lady. So good to have you, Kaylin Jean-Louis. Lovely to have you. Always come back so I can say your name again. But I'm going to do what I do with all the young people who excite me and make me feel like all is not lost, and there's a reason to get up and keep plowing through some of the absolute bullshit we have to deal with every day. Excuse me. apologies
It's
to
normal.
people. But anyway, thank you, Kia Thomas, again. Thank you, Betsy Brown, for making time to be with us this week. And thank you, young lady. I can't wait to vote for you one day.
Oh, thank you. And I want to say my personal thanks to everybody who's watching. I do got to shout out to Maya Wayman because I know my supporter is watching. Thank you, sis. And as they said, we're going to work together to get something together. Of course, to my mom, I love her. To every single person who supports me and supports Bassett Brooks, I'm just so grateful for you all, just for having me on. And I see y'all commercials all the time on YouTube, so I think I've memorized so much.
Okay, I'm going to get Kia to get you some fresh material.
Right? Got you covered. Hit that subscriber button.
Yes.
Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of the Empower Hour, brought to you by the Empower Plant by the Bassett Brooks Personal Injury Law Offices. We hope this has been as inspiring to you as it's been to us, and we look forward to a great weekend and seeing you again next Thursday at 4:30 Facebook Live. See you then.